Hi Prêt-à-Template designers, we're excited to introduce a new socks templates family that you will now find inside accessories section inside Prêt-à-Template app. Let's see the templates possibilities. There's 20 new socks templates. An important point to mention is that those same socks models are also available on the puzzle look. This is a catwalk woman puzzle look, and over here you can see the same socks available. The same goes for the man catwalk. This one. It also has the socks templates available to use. So I want to use these tights to illustrate a really cool concept of tights inspired piece by Adidas that quickly transforms into shorts. So created with this versatile length to prepare you for the infinite possibilities of the day. It's a really cool and nice concept that I want to illustrate using this new template. I want to illustrate both lengths, so I will probably use this left template to give a full length option. And the middle view I will use for the shorts option. So I want to begin with outlining the template, and I'm going to take a pen. This is the second tool, and pick a dark olive color to start outlining the template. And I'm going to pick a smaller size for it. Now I have a basic silhouette, so I need to draw the cut off part, this slit, and I'm just trying to find the right placement for it, and then I will see how it will transfer to the other view, and I'm going to only draw the shorts on the other view. This part is going to be just skin, so I have to get rid of these lines. And I'll start outlining this view. So I've changed the template a bit by using this small panel of belt on the waist, and the rest is just going to remain the same. I need to incorporate these hooks to my drawing that are going to connect the top and bottom part. I'm also adding the lines that separate different panels, because there will be a panel with a textured surface. Over here I'm just adding the place where the seam is, and I will also draw it the same way on this view. It will connect to the loop that holds the hook. In order to illustrate the stitching, I'm going to switch the line to the stitching mode and just indicate these with the lines over here. As I'm drawing this and comparing it to the reference, I think what I need to do is extend this belt panel and make it closer to the waistline. So I'm going to do these changes right now on my sketch and then translate them to the other view as well. I also feel as if the size of this piece is not right, so I'm doing the last small adjustments before I'm going to be ready to color, because then it's going to be harder to do changes. So I just want to make sure that everything I draw has the correct placement and size and not going to be changed further. Another thing I want to add is the sneakers, just to give it a little bit of a finished look to this piece. So I'm going to pick this light gray color and draw a pretty abstract shape of a sneaker, trying just to capture the overall shape. And I will give it also an abstract treatment, because I don't want it to be the main thing about this illustration. I just want it simply to support the feeling, the feeling, yeah, of the look. So it's like a secondary thing. And I'm using the pen as well to mark the outline. Now I will do a cheat move. I will take a scissor, copy this sneaker, and so simply drag it to the other foot. And I have a perfect copy. Just adjusted the size slightly smaller to kind of like take it to the back a bit. But yeah, it's just amazing and easy. So I took a new layer and dragged it underneath this outline, and I will work now on this new layer. I'm going to take this olive green, and using a marker of a large size, I'm just going to treat this area really broadly with this very wide wash of color. Now, thinking about this part of the body, the legs, the torso as the cylinder, I understand that to create the volume, I need to darken the sides. And imagine the light is in the middle, for example. Then I will darken the sides, make them go like to around, and then the middle is going to be lighter. So that's why I'm going to use this color, using the toggle of color to drag it and make it darker, and just layer these different shades really quick to create the volume. So I'm saturating the darks on the sides and adding lighter color towards the center. So using on a different layers, working on a different layers is a really great way to make sure you don't disrupt your previous work. So whatever I'm doing right now is reversible, and my outline is always going to be on the next layer, which means nothing's going to happen to it, even if I decide to delete what I'm currently doing. So use these layers decisively to prevent yourself from disrupting your previous work. That's why every time I'm starting a new kind of a new way of adding something, new addition to my illustration, whether that's an outline or a color or a pattern. I try to always keep it on a new layer in order to make these changes reversible. So now I'm using an eraser to get rid of everything that's outside the outline. Erasing, and I'm going to get a basic light and shadow pattern of my pieces. So I'm starting from big to small. My first step is overall indication of color and volume. And then I will start moving towards the details. See how can I separate different panels of this piece. How can I add small details, maybe hooks, and texture if I need to add, and all of that. So moving from big to small. Here's a little trick I do. I feel sometimes if the eraser cannot do the really narrow cuts for me, I'm just gonna take a white color with marker and basically hide it with the white color. So repeating basically same steps on this view. The idea of a cylinder still remains. I'm starting with this medium to light color and then layering shadows onto it. I wasn't sure whether I want to draw skin, but now I think I will. So I'm adding one more layer and switch into the skin palette, skin colors, and treating it basically the same way like the like the tights, the same way, but just using another color. But the shading is following the same pattern exactly. I want to continue it up to the waist, but like dissolve it. And because I'm using marker, as you can see, I can just give it a really pleasant soft edge and just leave it at that. At the same time for the feet. And then when I erase it, I'm going to make it slightly slimmer just to show that the tights aren't, it's not a paint that's painted on the skin, it has thickness. Therefore, the skin is going to be a little bit under. And this also allows me to perfect the edge of the green color, which was left untidy. So yeah, I'm finishing the skin. I reduced the size of marker and made the color darker, and just to saturate the shadows. So I removed the template and I will add one more layer on top of the green to further add detail, to start finding some smaller aspects of these and to saturate it with some nuanced things. I'm going to take the same green color and start working on these lines and edges. So what I want to do is find the small shadows. For example, when there is a stitching, this line is not just drawn on top. It basically presses the material a little bit inwards, which creates this little darker line. And the line that separates the panels is effectively created by the shadow, because one piece of material is on top of the other, is higher, and one is lower. So that's why by adding these simple things, these small nuances, you can actually elevate the realism of your illustration quite much. So that is exactly what I'm going to do throughout the length of these pieces, and treat all these edges the same way. Well, I guess I can start adding sneakers, and I'm going to pick colors that are on the original reference, something of this sort, and just try to just treat this shape really in an abstract and loose way. So first I'm coloring the entire area, and this marker, if you can see, it creates some inconsistencies. It doesn't really cover it really dense all over, so that gives, I really love that, you know, it has this really nice play of thicker and thinner color. And I will just give the other panel a little bit of a different color. Again, I love the way that this edge of the gray pen that I've created earlier is going to be a little bit unmatched with this wash. It's almost like a bit shifted, and I think it gives the illustration always the feeling of life. So that's how I'm just going to do that, and then add a couple of small details, and that's gonna be enough. I'm deliberately trying to not fit within these circles perfectly, because that's exactly the kind of style that I love, and I'm just trying to do the shoelace really quick. I'm gonna take a much darker color to just draw a few shadows over here next to the ankle to show that the sneaker is on top, and it makes this light shadow over here, and then under the shoelace, and it's going to be enough to make it look, I think, really nice. Yeah, done with this, and it's time to start paying some attention to the very small parts, like these small hooks, the clasp on the front and the back. There's not much I can draw over there except just maybe some color. It's really small piece. And the other thing that's missing also is I wanted to give one of the panels on the shorts a different texture, and I wanted to use one of the library textures to use it on this panel. Alright, one more layer to add the texture. I'm diving into the library to get the one that I'm looking for. This one is really small. I've used it already so many times before, so I already know exactly what I need. The only thing is that it just looks slightly too large. The lines are too far apart. and I want to make it a little more dense. So I'm going to take this large brush. This is a separate layer, yeah? And swipe it across on this large empty area. Just enough area to cover. Then I will take scissors tool. Staying on the same layer, I will just slightly shift it to the side. And it will become more dense this way. Apply it. Now it's still too large, although it's more dense. So I'm going to now select this new and add one more layer. I pressed plus, and now on the new layer, I'm going to also size it down and apply. So I can delete the previous layer with the larger version, and this version I can simply drag onto the other view too. And now I'm going to pick an eraser and basically erase everything that's not on that panel. So the texture is going to remain on this front panel that has hooks on the end. Everything else is going to be smooth. So that's why I'm just going to be negatively drawing at this point. The last thing that's left to be done is add one more layer on the very bottom and pick a light gray color. I'm going to be using white and then slightly drag the toggle to make it a bit off-white to create a shadow. And for that, I'll just drop some color under the sneakers. And that's basically it. The empty space under the front view can be used to write some description, and overall this is a great style of illustration to present your idea. I really hope you liked this video and learned something new. You can ask your questions in the comment section below. Please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.